Welcome to Upon Further Review for the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles Week 2 matchup in the 2015 NFL season. This is a 21st Sports production. We're going to be going over the numbers and giving our analysis, and we got a little bit of a gameplay prediction play in there. As you can see that I picked the Eagles in this game, and that is what you're watching. But let's go over the numbers from Week 1. As we saw the Giants fall to the Cowboys by 1 point in a spectacular clutch performance by Tony Romo, as the Cowboys won that one 27-26. And then the following night on Monday Night Football, part of the doubleheader that they had, the Eagles lost by 2 points to the Atlanta Falcons 26-24 as they had fallen down early. They made a valiant comeback in the second half, but they weren't able to make it up as they fell just short of the comeback that the Cowboys did not fall short of. And let's look at the numbers, though, for these two teams. And the total yards for the Cowboys in that game, 436 yards, and for the Eagles, 399. And then total passing yards in Week 1 for the Cowboys, 356, and for the Eagles against the Falcons, 336. Then we look at the rushing yards for both of these teams in last week's games, and it was 80 yards for the Cowboys, 63 yards for the Eagles. We look at the points per game, and they only have played one game, but it was 27 points that the Cowboys put up in Week 1, and the Eagles put up 24. Then we look at third down conversions. Last week, the Cowboys were able to convert 54.5% as they went 6 for 11 on third down conversions. And the Eagles went just 3 for 12, converting only 25% of their third down conversions on offense. And the time of possession, the Cowboys had the ball in their game for 37 minutes and 10 seconds. The Eagles had the ball just 24 minutes and 33 seconds. Then we look at defense. The Cowboys allowed 289 yards. The Eagles allowed 395 yards. We look at passing yards allowed. The Cowboys allowed 190, and the Eagles allowed 290. We look at the running yards. The Cowboys allowed 99. The Eagles 105. We look at points per game allowed. They only played one game, and they both allowed 26 points in their previous game last week, respectively. Of course, the Cowboys, they won their game allowing 26, scoring one more point. The Eagles lost, scoring just 2 less. And we look at third down conversions on defense. The Cowboys allowed 42.9% to be converted, as they allowed 6 out of 14 for the Giants. And for the Eagles, they allowed 28.6%, as they allowed 4 out of 14 for the Falcons. So the Cowboys came up with a big come from behind victory, especially in that fourth quarter. Romo hitting Witten for 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, coming from behind, especially throwing that touchdown with just 7 seconds left. And on that drive, Dunbar was looking pretty impressive, catching the ball out of the backfield. And Randall was all right during the game. Just 65 yards on the ground, 16 attempts. It was a 4.1 average, but they're going to have to run the ball more than that to have success. Witten, like I said, the 2 touchdowns. Romo in the game, 80% completion percentage, 36 for 45, 356 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But going into the fourth quarter, he had the 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. But he came up huge in that fourth quarter, especially on that final drive down the stretch. And he didn't have Dez Bryant on that final drive. He's not going to have him at all in this game. And I think that without Dez Bryant, Romo's just not going to have the weapons to be able to beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles, as they showed in last week's game against the Falcons, it took a little while to get going in the first half. They fell down, quite a bit. They were trailing, but then in the second half they got going, and then Sam Bradford seemed to get more comfortable in the system, and he upped his percentage and brought it up to 69.2%. I believe he completed like 85% in the second half. He had only completed like around 50%, 53 maybe, or something like that in the first half. But he finished 36 for 52 with 356 passing yards. Of course, 2 interceptions and just 1 touchdown. He's going to have to do something about that, especially he's going to have to protect the ball better. So they both had 2 interceptions last week, so they're both vulnerable to turnovers. And the Eagles, DeMarco Murray now he's going against his former team, of course, the Dallas Cowboys, who didn't want to pay him what he was asking. And really, it wasn't like he was asking so much, especially when they were just throwing money around. But, things ended up how they did. And now he's in Philadelphia. Only 9 yards on the ground against the Falcons and only 11 yards receiving for a total of 20 yards in that game. He did, though, get into the end zone twice, once with the reception and then once, with the rushing touchdown. So he did get into the end zone, although he didn't have many yards total. I think he'll have more production against the Cowboys. It'll be interesting to see in that Eagles offense how much, production he can have on the ground. The offense is definitely built more for the pass and more centered around the pass. As you saw, Bradford threw the ball 52 times. DeMarco Murray only rushed the ball 8 times. Of course, part of that has to do with the speed of their offense. They're just running plays so fast, and that can lead to them getting off the field fast, quick 3 and outs. Gets their defense tired, and that's part of why their time of possession was so low. That's something they got to work on. On the other hand, the Cowboys did an excellent job of clock management, regardless of not really having a very balanced attack and not really running the ball that much themselves. But if they can have the ball for 37-10, about 37 minutes, that will definitely go a long way towards the possibility of getting one on the road against their division rivals. But I'm definitely going with the Eagles here. They said the way it looked is that the Eagles, on the road in Atlanta, a new quarterback, and a lot of new players. You have a new running back, new quarterback. You have a lot of new things going on there. It took them time, it seemed, to gel, but once they did, they really looked good in that second half. And so I think they're going to pick up where they left off in that second half right away against the Cowboys. It should be an interesting game for sure. We saw they can get some turnovers, whereas the Cowboys on defense were, struggling somewhat. So, they did manage to hold, the Giants, but they could have been more. It could have been worse if the Giants had really done a better job of clock management there and really gone for the jugular. They might have, they kind of stole a victory against the Giants in week 1. I don't really see that happening in Philadelphia. I think the Eagles are going to end up winning this game for sure. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions, and who do you think is going to win and why. Thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and having a great weekend, and enjoy all the sports.